You've been there, right? A project kicks off, everyone's fired up, the energy is amazing. And then, a few weeks later, it just kind of fizzles out into confusion and missed deadlines. It's so easy to start pointing fingers, but what if the problem isn't the people? What if it's the process itself? Today, we are going to dive into the one structural change that can turn that project chaos into real collaborative success. Seriously, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in that meeting? You know the one. Someone has this brilliant, game-changing idea. The room is buzzing, everybody's excited, and you're thinking, yes, this is it. Only for that amazing idea to completely vanish into thin air a week later. If you're not in your head right now, you are definitely not alone. And that feeling, it's universal. It's that moment where all that amazing momentum just disappears. It is one of the most frustrating things about working on a team. But here's the thing, it's not just a bad feeling. It's actually a symptom of a much deeper issue in how we're set up to work together. Yeah, these are the usual suspects we love to blame when projects fail. We get so excited we jump straight to solutions before we even agree on what the actual problem is. We operate with these fuzzy, vague goals, so of course everyone's pulling in a slightly different direction. And oh man, the worst one, we keep making the same mistakes project after project. But here's the big secret. These aren't your fault. They aren't personal failures. They are predictable system failures. And the great news is, systems can be fixed. So what is the real root cause here? It's definitely not a lack of talent or passion or motivation. No, it's something much deeper, a fundamental flaw in the very structure of how we try to collaborate. The thing is, we're constantly misdiagnosing the problem. We see symptoms, right? Like an unequal workload, and we blame individuals for not pulling their weight. But the root cause is a total lack of shared understanding of what the work even is. We see missed deadlines, and we think it's about poor time management, when really, there's no collaborative structure to support the team. We see our best people burning out, and we completely miss the crushing weight of all that invisible coordination that always seems to fall on one or two people's shoulders.
And this quote just nails it. It's so true. When things go wrong, our first instinct is to look at the people. But the issue isn't the individuals. It's the system they're forced to work in. You just can't solve a structural problem by blaming people. You have to fix the structure.
So here's the bottom line. Teams often fail because they don't have a shared, predictable rhythm. There's no consistent process that connects everyone's work, that builds a collective memory, and that actually encourages real structured collaboration. And without that rhythm, every single new project feels like you're starting from scratch, and you're just doomed to repeat the same old mistakes. So how do we build that rhythm? Well, the solution is a really powerful structural change that you make right at the very beginning of a project. It's called the empathy stage. Think of it as a deliberate, disciplined sprint designed specifically to build that shared understanding that's almost always missing. Now, the whole point of the empathy stage is to fight back against this powerful, instinctual thing called speed bias. You know exactly what this is. It's that voice in your head that hears a problem and immediately starts shouting out solutions. It feels super productive in the moment, but honestly, it's the #1 reason teams end up solving the wrong problems. So, to fight that speed bias, the empathy stage forces a mandatory pause. Now, this isn't about being slow, not at all. It's about being deliberate. This is a dedicated period for deep contextual immersion and really disciplined listening, where the goal isn't to solve a single thing. The goal is to understand everything. It's an active, intense process of building that shared foundation of knowledge together. And this isn't just some vague idea either. It is a structured protocol. Step 1 is the exploratory harvest, where the team just gathers all the raw data it can possibly find. Step 2 is sense-making, where you process all that raw data and turn it into structured insights. And then step 3 is to package and share that insight, creating a single source of truth for the entire team. Okay, so that's the big picture. Let's dive in a little deeper and see what this actually looks like in practice. What is a team doing during this empathy stage? That first step, the exploratory harvest, is basically a massive info-gathering sweep across 3 key areas. First, you look inward, at past projects, old documents, historical lessons learned. Second, you look outward. What's happening in the market? What are competitors up to? And third, and this is crucial, you engage directly with people through stakeholder intelligence, doing structured interviews and having real conversations. You absolutely need all 3 to get the full picture. And this really gets to the heart of why it's called the empathy stage. The goal is not just to collect a bunch of facts and figures. It's to capture the human element, the emotional and contextual stuff hiding just beneath the surface. What are the secret anxieties, the real motivations? What are the unstated assumptions that are driving everything? This is where you build real structural empathy.
So all of this hard work leads to one key deliverable: the framed understanding package. And listen, this is not just another folder full of random meeting notes. No, this is a synthesized document that transforms all that scattered info into a single coherent story. It visualizes how ideas connect and tells the human story behind the data. It becomes this powerful shared asset that the entire team can build on.
So why does all of this matter so much? How does this deep, empathetic understanding actually stop projects from failing like we talked about at the beginning? Well, it all comes down to finally realizing that projects are built on human connections. Because when you get right down to it, a project isn't a list of tasks in a spreadsheet. It is a network of people and the promises they make to each other. I mean, look at this hidden web of dependencies. Lily, the coordinator, gives timeline updates. Without those, Laudalia can't plan her marketing launch, and Paul in finance can't start the billing process. And Laudalia's report on launch readiness, that's what Carlvin in leadership needs to make big decisions. The whole thing is a delicate chain of human connections. And when that shared context, the very thing the empathy state builds, is missing, that human chain breaks. If Lily's plan is just a week out of date, Laudalia and Paul are now making critical decisions based on bad information. See, that's not a personal failure, that's a system failure. And this is exactly how misunderstandings, delays, and scope creep happen. It's not some big explosion, it's a tiny break in that human chain of understanding. The empathy stage also does something else that's just as vital. It builds the foundation for psychological safety. And all that means is it's the shared belief that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's safe to ask a stupid question, to admit you made a mistake, or to raise a concern without any fear of being shut down or humiliated. Honestly, it's the bedrock of any high-performing team. And just look at the difference it makes. It's like two different worlds. In low-safety teams, problems get hidden until they explode. People fudge their progress reports to avoid looking bad. And when things go wrong, it's all about finding someone to blame. But in high-safety teams, the complete opposite happens. Problems are brought up early, when they're still small. Progress is reported honestly, and the focus is on creating solutions together. A project's success is directly tied to which one of these columns your team lives in. So really, it all comes down to this. The incredible value of dedicating real time to the empathy stage is captured perfectly in this quote. By resisting that urge to just jump straight to solutions and instead investing that time in deep, shared understanding, you're making sure that your team's most valuable resources, their time, their energy, their creativity, are spent solving the right problem, right from the very start. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Forget about all the productivity hacks and fancy software for just a second and ask yourself this. What becomes truly possible for your team, for your company, when you finally create a system that ensures you stop wasting all that energy solving the wrong problems and you start focusing all of that collective power on the ones that truly matter?